Good morning. I want to welcome you all here and thank you for coming. If you haven't signed in, please sign in now. I thought we were having a PA system, so if at any time you can't hear anybody, just raise your hand in the back and we'll speak louder. My name is Teresa Seitz. For those of you who don't know me, I am your MAC delegate. The MAC is the Municipal Advisory Council with 9 delegates representing the 9 unincorporated communities in the Morongo Basin. The MAC advises San Bernardino County 3rd District Supervisor James Ramos on the interests of the unincorporated communities. Earlier this year, I heard that there was a position open for Wonder Valley. I sent in my application and was appointed. More than being your MAC delegate, I am your neighbor. It is easy to get a hold of me, and there are flyers at the table with my contact information. Please feel free to take one. We also have flyers for our Next Door Valley Network. It's a social network open only to those who live in Wonder Valley. We have 60 members. Please join us. Please join the network. If you have any trouble signing in, please contact me. Now, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This meeting is a formal Brown Act compliant meeting. The meeting was noticed at the Wonder Valley Community Center, the Palms Restaurant, the Glass Outhouse Art Gallery, in the Desert Trail newspaper and the Wonder Valley Sound paper, online at the Wonder Valley website, Next Door Wonder Valley, and on Facebook. I am now going to speak about the format of the meeting. This is the first meeting on this issue. There will be other meetings. This meeting is a fact-finding meeting. We are here to hear from Division Chief John Chamberlin on the proposal to raise the fire tax in Wonder Valley. He will give his presentation. After the presentation, we will ask questions and request clarifications. Please, no comments or questions during the presentation. If you plan to ask a question of Division Chief Chamberlin, please fill out a comment card and place it on the table here. You can do this at any time during the meeting. When I call your name, please approach the microphone over here, state your name, then make your comment or ask your question. You will have 2 minutes, but if you keep it to less than that, everyone may get a chance to ask their questions. Please keep an eye on the timekeeper, Ken, right here. You may remain at the microphone during the answers so that you may ask for further clarification if you need it. Please address the fire chief and not the audience. Please, no crosstalk or side conversations during the meeting. Please keep any applause quiet and short. If you hear me strike the gavel, please stop talking. You must use the microphone. We are videotaping this meeting and will post the video online at YouTube so those who could not attend this meeting may view it later. Please turn off your cell phones. You may have strong feelings about this issue. I am asking you to remain calm during this meeting so that everyone may speak and be heard and we can get the answers we need to proceed. I have been talking with a lot of people in many different agencies about this issue. I believe if we work together as a community, we will find a solution that works for us. And now I want to introduce Fire Chief John Chamberlin of the San Bernardino County Fire Department, Division 5, South Desert.
Wow, that was very well done. Thank you. Do I need to talk into that?
No,
I'm good? Okay,
yeah.
It's fine. First off, let me tell you, thank you for having me out here today. It's an honor and a privilege to meet you all. It is a packed house. I like that. That's great. It makes for a lively conversation. So basically, I was promoted to the position of Division Chief and asked to come out to Division 5, which is South Desert, in March. I knew there were some challenges facing the area out here, and I wanted to be a stakeholder in the resolution of those. The presentation I've developed for you here today revolves around 2 parts. One of them is a historical recognition of the LAFCO process, as well as your tax that you've already established, and then understanding exactly, walking through this, why we're in the position we're in as far as the county fire department is concerned, and what we can do in a partnership with you to actually figure out some resolutions to this. At the end of this, like she said, I'm okay with being beat up. I understand it. There's some information in here that probably some people aren't going to like. That's okay. Feel free. I'm open to it. Believe me, I've been getting beat up since I got here. That's okay. But what I will ask is that you consider, I'm not looking for a solution today. I'm not looking for an answer today. What I am looking for is some type of idea in which direction the community would like to go in that aspect. And once we get through this, I think it'll fill in a lot of the voids for potential problems that or misinformation that maybe is out there, and we can actually fill in the gaps and everybody can understand the full magnitude of the issue. Okay? Okay, so the history of the department. The San Bernardino County Fire Department was comprised of 29 separate legal budgeted entities until November 28th of 2007. Some of you remember back when CDF ran part of the area, that was this area as a matter of fact at one point. California Department of Forestry, they're now CAL FIRE. And then you had the San Bernardino County Fire Agency. Around 1998, the county fire department became whole. They formed up Central Valley, Lucerne Valley, Wrightwood, a lot of the smaller districts merged under one umbrella, and eventually the Board of Supervisors canceled the contract with CDF, which is now CAL FIRE, and moved towards a consolidated county fire department. What's important is that the county fire department had requested for consolidation purposes this LAFCO action, which is 3000, 3000A, and 3001, and what that did was allowed us to regionalize assets and budgets, something that we could never do. We could never cross across boundaries. Okay? Even when I worked at Station 36 in Joshua Tree, I could not respond to a call in Yucca Valley previous to that legally. That was just the way it was. Okay? So that's what the LAFCO action actually did, was it allowed us to regionalize the service delivery. Consolidated the dollars as far as that was concerned. Don't beat me up over that. FP4 is not part of that consolidation into other areas. It's here only. Okay? And that was the intent of the 3000, 3000A, and 3001 document. So what that did was, for the first time, it allowed us to utilize those resources and finances in the regionalized service delivery. It allowed us to pool our personnel, our funding, and our assets, which include stations, land, and equipment. And it made for a much more efficient, streamlined service delivery model that we never had before. We used to have chiefs everywhere. I can say that now as a chief. I used to hate those guys when I was actually a fireman. But at any rate, the bottom line is now we're much more streamlined and efficient operation than we ever used to be. We're not running parallel agencies anymore. This opened the door to many of the citizens of San Bernardino County in regards to purchasing power, because now we're buying in bulk. We have volume. We have grant funding available that was never available before, as well as the general fund support. And general fund support is very important because historically we never had the general fund support from the Board of Supervisors before. We had to live specifically within the means, 100% of the area in which it was garnered. Okay, so there was no crossover whatsoever. So it's important to note that. On May 20th, 2005, the folks here in Wonder Valley, on a 72% margin, voted to establish a fire tax. That was Improvement Zone M, Wonder Valley. Started off at $30. The initial intention of the tax was passed as a 2.5% inflationary measure. If you guys got this packet, you'll see the actual ballot measure right on the front page that you voted on a mail-in ballot. Okay. And on June 7th, the Board of Supervisors passed or received the mail-in ballot with a 1.5% inflationary measure. Why they did that, I have no idea. They shorted themselves 1% every year on that. Okay, so basically, anytime you're seeing an increase every year, it's 1.5 instead of the 2.5 that was originally voted to be approved. I don't know right now. I've not talked to legal counsel if that's something that they can adjust up through a board resolution action, or if that now has to be revoted. I don't have that answer for you yet. Okay, the tax was built on the premise of both a limited term firefighter and a paid call firefighter program. Service Zone FP4, not Improvement Zone 4, but FP4 was created under that LAFCO action 3000A, 3001. Basically, Service Zone 4 is contained within the the South Desert Zone of the San Bernardino County Fire District. Contrary to what it says in the fact sheet, You do not contract with San Bernardino County for services. You are part of the legal recognized entity of the San Bernardino County Fire District. Okay, so you don't sign a contract for services every year. You are part of us. Okay? FP4 started at a rate of $30 starting in 5/6 through the 1.5% accepted increase from the board. You typically go up 47 1/10 cents per year. Okay, so put that in perspective. 47 cents a year is the increase on the taxes.
That's what they voted back in 2000.
Excuse me, no talking. Let's let him
I'll
finish his.
I'll get to that. That's fine. I'll write it down as a question. So you're currently at $33.80 for fiscal year 15-16. FP4 is comprised, and the map is right back there if you want to take a look at it. I had a big plotter printed up. 4,636 total parcels. It is a parcel tax. I pulled this right off my figures this morning. I was been in the office since 5:30. 151,218.81 is what's been collected year to date. That was for last fiscal year. There's the map. We're going to shift gears from FP4 now, and we're going to talk about the limited term firefighter program, which is what your current staffing is. Okay, and this is very important. Since the county fire agency days, back in the early 80s, the county utilized what was called limited term firefighters. They were different titles: extra help, recurrent, cheap labor is really what it amounted to. That was the bottom line. They were brought in for basically minimum wage or slightly above minimum wage. It was basically an apprentice level position. You work through that. A lot of them members were hired within the agency or within county fire and then moved up through the ranks. The current fire chief, Mark Hartwig, and myself both came from this program. We worked our way through it. The terms of employment were inconsistent throughout. Basically, back in the agency days, there was no uniform thing. We were managed by independent human resources within the county. And there was no, Lucerne did it different from Wrightwood, who did it different from here, who did it was crazy. That led to a few lawsuits because we were working people outside of the parameters of the Fair Labor Standards Act, okay, federal law, different things like that, and it cost the county a lot of money to settle out lawsuits along the way. In response to that, the limited term firefighter program was introduced. Hold on one second, I apologize. So this was the newest term, and this was the one that's going to remain. If anybody is interested, I have the job description here. I can start passing this around if you guys want to look at it. Feel free. That's the limited term firefighter position. Each candidate would remain employed to a maximum of 3 years. They could go to 4 if they went to paramedic school while they were under our employment at the time. They had to test annually for their positions, and basically it was a written test that they had to go through every year to verify that they got a skill set that they obtained each year, so they were moving towards some type of career. This was never designed to be a career position within our department. They had to have a break in their employment each year. They had to have a 2-week break within that. Typically what happened was they rolled them over on paper, on payroll, to a different position, and that's the way they gave them their break on it. We never actually laid everybody officially off. Initially, the recruitment was easy, remained high. We had several hundred applications from younger individuals, both men and women, who wanted a career in the fire service. This was during the recessionary period. It's when it started. Tons of people out there trying to look for that job experience. Then the numbers started to dwindle, and the application went from an open period down to a continuous recruitment. And again, we were able to continue to recruit people, but the numbers continued to dwindle. They also expanded the program as they went to outlying areas. It's cheap labor. It's an easy way to get stuff going, okay? You have 2 limited term firefighters here per day is what's scheduled, okay? The recruitment process, there was always a written test. The candidate was responsible for providing the physical agility to us. We'd put them through an oral panel. We'd put them through a very expensive physical to make sure there was no workman's comp issues, anything along those lines, any underlying problems, and also a comprehensive background check. We obviously don't want anybody with any felonies because we can't insure them. We can't put them into a position with an EMT or a paramedic card. They can't have DUIs because they can't drive our apparatus. Drug screening, the whole 9 yards. So, limited term firefighters are basically at an apprentice level. These individuals are striving to, again, gain a career position. They're typically paid about $12 an hour. They have no retirement benefits. They have no health insurance. They're here as a stepping stone. These positions do not provide for an ability to obtain an affordable lifestyle or support a family. They were never designed to do that. So that led us to a decision point for the county. Each candidate that we have to process through costs us money. The typical physical, and this is not an exaggeration because we run them through a treadmill and a pulmonary function test and labs and x-rays. It is as legit of a physical as you could ever get, is $1,200. And that's in the county's cost. That's us doing it internally. To fit them in turnouts is about $1,400 per person. Orientation period, we can't just turn them loose, so we have to put them on. We built a compressed 3-week down and dirty, this is what you need to know before we can send you out to the field. That's 3 weeks of extra pay, so it's double and a half time for those things. This is a fact. At our last academy, we brought 18 in. We lost 10 of them before we got through the 3-week period. To other departments. Because of pay, benefits, job offers.
Okay, please hold your questions until after the presentation.
So the question was, review the potentials. How are we going to deal with this long-term problem? It was discussed with the HR and CEO of the county, Mr. Devereaux, along with the fire chief, Mark Hartwig. The decision was made to exit the program as it's not considered sustainable. Basically what this did, and I should tell you, I think it's further in the slides, I'll tell you that we left the continuous recruitment open when I told you the numbers dwindled from several hundred. Calendar year 2014, we had 38 total applications for 90 positions that were terming out. So now you understand kind of where the dilemma's at, why we're having some of these problems, okay? When we made this decision to exit the program, what did this do in turn? Well, you have 90 of these positions out there. These are 24-hour-a-day positions, okay? There's none of them that are part-time. So now what we did was basically we forced 900 shifts of overtime a month onto our career personnel. So we forced them on top of them already being there 10 days a month and then covering for their counterparts on vacation, holiday, or sick leave, whatever it is, or strike teams, or whatever, workman's comp. I mean, any given time we have 30, 40 people off on workman's comp, it seems like these days. When you look at this, that's 900 extra shifts a month that our personnel had to absorb. This forced the full-time personnel now to work over 100 hours at a time. They come in on Monday, they go home on Friday or Saturday. They'd be off one day, they're coming back for 4 or 5 more. And that's a normal process. Even today, we're just tapering off of that, okay? So, at the height of the program, out of your 450 county firefighters, 90 of these positions were there. I will tell you that we rolled in the probationary personnel that are on right now, that are in the Joshua Tree and Yucca Valley area are about to come off probation in November. That was a class of 30. I think that 26 of them made it through probation successfully. We currently have a class, matter of fact, when I leave here tonight, I'm heading to Needles for our class of 20 new cadets that are going to be burning some stuff down out there. And then we're anticipating putting another class of 50 on in March. There was that 38 number. So, as a county, we don't want to cut services. I mean, you're paying for something, we want to deliver it. Okay, that's the bottom line. We're trying to work it out. Bottom line is the overtime's unbudgeted. So we're trying to figure that out. How are we going to deal with this? What's that going to mean? So what are we going to do to address it? Okay, with the retirement system changes, we've hired many firefighters. We already talked about there's 50 on, there's going to be another 50 on. That's reduced the retirement benefit and costs less long term. That allows us to shift some of the general fund support that the board has given us into these other positions to help us hire other people and eventually keep moving that direction. The problem with general fund support, and I should tell you this, is it's subjective to who's on the board. It's got to have 3 votes. It's not a guaranteed source of revenue. So as we're looking at that, that's a problem for us. We moved to an ambulance operator position. A lot of these limited term firefighters used to be the paramedics and drivers on the ambulances. We've now moved to a civilian career position on those ambulances. Yucca Valley, Hesperia, Lake Arrowhead, Wrightwood, Lucerne, they're all now civilian level, non-safety positions, with the caveat that we would give them the opportunity to hire from within first. This goes back, I'm going to throw my little plug in for Copper Mountain College, by the way. Anybody who wants to get into county fire, have them go to the EMT program, because that's a great way into the doorstep for us to get them into a firefighting career with us. I'm just throwing it out there. Where's Break Bill at? Hi, Jim. Is that good for you? Does that work? Okay.
See you later.
Okay. We're in a good partnership with them, I will just tell you that. So, at any rate. So, we've been able to consolidate our assets, our personnel, and deployed the remaining limited term firefighters into areas in which they are most effectively utilized and budgeted for. This is a prime example of that. We took them out of Needles. We took them out, I mean, we consolidated them all. You know how many people you have assigned here for limited term firefighters? Out of your 6? 1. That means 5 positions. I either have to force that limited term firefighter to the 100-hour rule, so he or she is coming into work Monday and not going home until Saturday, or I have to force a pro person in there. And when I do that, now you're looking at somebody that was making $12 an hour to somebody who's making close to $20 an hour plus overtime. So now they're at $30 an hour. So when I'm budgeted for 12, and all of a sudden I'm spending 30, it doesn't take very long to eat up your budget. Okay, and in reality, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm anticipating the end of the fiscal year this year, we're probably going to be, we calculated your original staffing cost to be around $400,000. I'm going to be closer to $700,000 this year for the station. So the fact sheet's been going door to door is incorrect. If you go back through LAFCO's actual service review in 2012, if you go back to page 102 and 104, and I didn't include this in there, feel free to read through it. It specifically talks about the fact that 29 Palms would not be allowed to absorb the area because they do not have a sustainable source of revenue, period. They can't provide the service. I know what it says on the back end, towards the end, but they're talking about after the fact if 29 Palms had passed a special tax or something along those lines. We know that 29 Palms has not done that. They looked at county fire as the option because we can overlay FP5 tax, and barring a protest vote, which is still possible, that would be thing. So obviously that was a choice for 29 Palms service area. It gives them the ability to afford their step up in staffing. It gives them a solid revenue stream for the future, and hopefully they will, well, I can say hopefully, not in my tenure, they're never going to have to face any more cuts. I promise you that. The city of 29 Palms voted 4-1 to pass on the opportunity. They were next in line in secession. We don't want it. That's what they said. They passed a resolution supporting the water districts thing. We, the County Board of Supervisors, accepted that, passed a resolution, and submitted a LAFCO application in conjunction with the water district. Okay, again, there's still an opportunity that that whole thing could fall apart. If the residents in 29 Palms make that protest vote, then it falls all the way back to the water district to figure out what's going on. So, I said there was options. Don't beat me up over this, okay? Bear with me. Let's look at your options. Let's look at our options, okay? Because I'm a partner on this whole thing, and believe me when I tell you, I know that Mark will tell you this, and I know that Jim will tell you this, I am your advocate on this whole thing, guys. It may not seem like it. I'm racking my brain trying to figure out ways that we can do this. I'm very open to solutions along the way, though. The cost of managing the station come July 1st, when that limited term firefighter program goes out, is going to be $1.46 million. Okay, that's a fact. This is all inclusive. It's your equipment replacement, your long-term capital, such as fire station improvements, stuff like that, salary and benefits. You generate $152,000 a year with your FP4. Your general tax with the FP4, the improvement zone M, Star asked me this question. It used to be in the neighborhood of $60,000. There was some type of transition, well, there was revaluation that occurred with the county during the recession. But in addition to that, I think we lost some parcels out of that. I'm going to investigate that. But as I'm at right now, when I pulled the rolls this morning, you're basically generating $17,000 a year out of your property taxes, less this, or plus this, I should say, in addition to this, for your services. Okay? So really what that revenue shortfall means is just under $1.3 million is what you're short. So to maintain the current staffing level, your parcel tax, and this is maintaining your service level and getting rid of the limited term firefighter because there are none to have. This is option 1. Increasing your parcel tax to $311.26. I see a lot of shaking your heads. I expected that. And I'm okay. Hold on. Okay? Don't beat me up yet. Give me a chance. Okay? The other thing we can do, we can attempt work back towards a locally based system of using pay-call firefighters. If there's able-bodied people that are willing to step up and jump through the hoops, and that's the key word there, able-bodied people that are willing to jump through the hoops and be available. The problem with paid-call firefighting is it's a convenience firefighting force. Okay, the pager goes off. If you're available, then you come in. It's not like the old days where you can just drop everything, close the door on your business, and run down there. It doesn't work that way. Those people need to be able to live within 20 minutes of the fire station. If they don't live within 20 minutes of the fire station, are they going to be any use to you when you need help? No, they're not. Okay? If option 2 is attempted and there's no ability to respond, we could potentially look at utilizing assets out of 29 Palms if they come on board. Okay? We won't know that affirmatively until April or May, somewhere in that neighborhood. This basically means that we would have to cost recover FP4's funding, the $33, and you can continue to pay the $33. So we could try the PCF program with the $33. If they're not able to respond, we potentially could send an engine or a resource from 29 Palms, but then we would have to pay them back for that because theirs is specific to the service delivery in their area. So we would have to fund them back, right? They're paying their tax measure for their area, for their station. Even though they're a regionalized asset, we would have to reimburse them, okay? I could shuffle the engine out of Joshua Tree down to the Station 35 down by the college. That would cover both areas simultaneously between Joshua Tree, whatever. That's a county-owned asset. So that's not under contractual basis or specific funding measure. That comes out of the South Desert Zone. Or the final action we could look at is we could turn the revenues back to you and dissolve FP4, which leaves you with no fire station, if that's what you want to do, and you're subject to whenever we can get here.
Excuse me.
Okay. The ambulance company is still respond for medical, and that would answer that for you. So in closing, as a community partner, County Fire is going to be responsive and open to evaluate any and all solutions. Bringing paid call firefighters from other areas such as years past, like Star used to staff it and she did a great job with it. That's not really an option anymore. There's federal laws that have changed, there's state laws that have changed. We have the Part-Time Employee Sick Leave Act from the state. We have the Affordable Health Care Act now, anything more than 30 hours. Now we have to provide them health care insurance. All these different statutes and changes that have made, I can't just grab people and drag them in anymore and work them 50, 60, 70 hours a week. It doesn't work that way anymore. Okay? Closing, I hope it was informative. I hope it actually filled in some of the gaps along the way to make you understand why we're in the position we're in, why we're talking about some of the things we're talking about. Again, I'm not looking for an answer from the community today. I'm hoping that you're going to take this back and evaluate it and think about what level of protection you need. It's really in your hands, what you want in all reality. I mean, you live out here for a reason. I understand that. You know, I did not put it in here, but I wanted to give you guys some idea too. Economy of scale. For your area out here in Wonder Valley, your general ad valorem tax, so you take your, say you have a $100,000 home, and I don't know how many homes are out here valued at $100,000. Okay, I'll just leave it like this. Okay, so we'll take a round number. Okay, $100,000 home, 1% on Prop 13, that's $1,000. Okay, your guys' area here, we generate 2.5 cents on the dollar for fire. That means for every $1,000 that the county takes in, we're getting $2.50 for fire protection. You go to Yucca Valley, that number is anywhere between $22 and $24 on the 1,000 for fire protection. It's because of incorporation. That's what it has to do with. So because you're in an unincorporated, unimproved area, that's why you're not getting that value. Okay, so I just wanted to give you that to mull over too, because in reality, when you look at it, the people in Yucca Valley or Joshua Tree, they pay a higher percentage on and on and on as you're looking at it. And this is one of the questions that I got posed to me in 29 Palms. What do they pay? Well, if they're in a $200,000 home, they're potentially paying $400 to $600, depending on what tax area they actually live in for fire protection per year. You guys are paying $33 plus $2.50 on the 1,000. of tax. So, all right, so thank you for your time. I'm more than willing to get beat up now. Feel free. I'm okay with it. I understand. I hope it was informative, guys. I really do. If I need to change something, or because we're going to give this again, if there's something that I can clean up, that I need to fill in the gaps more and make it so it's understandable better, I'm good. So thank you.
I have just 4 questions up here, and I'm sure you all have more than that you'd like to ask. You can fill these out, bring them up anytime to me, okay? So first I have Paul Vaspoli.
You need to speak into this microphone?
This mic go over here.
Oh yeah, you can take that down. Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
So, you said back in 2005 they voted this measure in, and of course they didn't put any cost of living increase into it, and they didn't evaluate for the future. And so now this is why we're here at this moment in time, because it wasn't projected for. And of course, none of y'all were in duties of the responsibilities that you are in now, and you're seeing the situation that we're in. It seems that this has been a working measure out here with the way people have it with the 33. What you're asking, as you described, some of these $1 million homes are only paying $300-400 bucks. Most of the people who live out here have homes that are only valued at $20,000, $30,000, that sort of a thing. Really, to pay you $300 for the fire company to come out and pour water on a concrete slab because the roads are impassable, because you can't get to the house because some driveways are just not able to have a vehicle. My water truck has sank in my front yard many times, and I've tried many times to prevent that from happening. And it can't make it to the tank, let alone to get to the house. So there are a lot of diversities in what you guys want us to give you this money for, in the way of there's no paved roads, there's no fire plugs. As it is, we have to keep 1,000 gallons of water just for the fire company here. Some people only have 2,000-gallon tanks. They can barely manage to have 1,000 in reserve, let alone 1,000 to use for their own personal interest. The long-term firefighters, it's a no-training program. It made some lawsuits. You made that there. The decision point. You're losing people to better communities with better options to advance in the ranks. Of course, as you know that, if you're in a better city, Malibu or Santa Barbara or whatever, you're on more calls, you're more recognized, your record shows that you were in that fire and you did duty, and that you get more commendations in time, and you will upgrade. As you said, you started in this program and now you have upgraded into a better position.
Sure.
But out here it took a little bit more time.
Your 2 minutes is up. Do you have a question?
You can have like 2 minutes.
No, that's all. If my 2 minutes are up, I'll go off the microphone.
Did you have a question? Is there something I can answer
The
for you?
question is, will this be a ballot? Will this just be something that's going to be forced upon us?
Okay, so that's a great question. No.
Okay.
No,
And that's really the bottom line. Is this a ballot, or we're going to say, no, we don't want this. We want it to either be dissolved and go away, or you're going to tell us we have to pay $300, and people out here are poverty-stricken. They can't afford that.
Sure.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Vespoli.
Okay,
Thank you for
so
listening to what I had to say.
no problem. Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. I would tell you that this absolutely would have to be some type of ballot measure. We cannot just pass a resolution to the Board of Supervisors. I don't have a magic wand. I can't say, poof, you're all paying $300. It doesn't work that way. That's why I said I'm out here for options. I want to see what the feel is and where we're at with it and what the belief is within the community. And I understand your sentiments loud and clear. I understand that. So, again, I'm here to listen to what your thoughts are. I'm here to solicit for potential solutions. If you have something other than giving me $300 a year, I'm more than happy to listen to it, and we'll try and figure out a way to deal with it. I'm not here to shake you down. That's not it. That's the bottom line. I'm not the mafia. I'm not here to collect a stipend. What I'm here for is to just inform you. These are the facts. I don't have the limited term firefighter program at my disposal any longer. There is no option there for that. Okay, so we have gone out and tried to recruit for that. So if you want to maintain paramedic service in the community, that's going to have to be a professional level position. We can't even do part-time paramedics for that. Okay? If you want to maintain what you're already paying and go back to the paid call firefighter program and attempt to do reactive like that, we can do that. That's what I'm asking. Okay? So to answer your question, sir, no, I absolutely cannot force this on you, nor, and to be honest with you,
My question is more.
I understand.
Question,
I understand.
because you understand.
I understand.
I'm sorry, but
I got you. That's fine.
you can't speak from the audience. You have to use
That's
the
fine.
mic.
We're good. Okay.
I could speak to the audience instead I have to stand up again.
Yeah, me too.
It would be much more conciliatory for everybody to be able just to point something instead.
Okay.
A lot of people aren't oratory and up to a microphone and standing up like that. They prefer to
Okay,
sit down.
well, let me just say, the reason that we chose to do it this way was because we wanted to make this available to people who couldn't come to this meeting today. So, Bob, is there an option, can we take the mic to people?
Take your mic with you.
Okay,
can
let's
take
do
your
that.
mic, people? Okay.
Not this one? Oh, that one's, okay. So, who would
minute.
like to be
Here.
the mic person?
Here, I'll walk it around. That's fine. I'll do it.
Okay.
That's fine. No problem.
How's that? Is that?
I can make that happen.
Is it compromise? Okay, great.
I got no problem with that.
Okay, so Naomi Bruxer? Yeah, we'll bring it over to you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I don't think there's any way you want to do it.
There's supposedly around 4,600 whatever figures you had up there, parcels out in Wonder Valley.
Uh-huh.
Our community is just simply too small to support a full-time fire or an emergency personnel.
Okay.
I lived out here for 11 years, and when I first came out here, our fire department had some kind of volunteering deal going on, so they didn't have a full-time station there. I say we go back to that. My question is, how can this proposed tax be higher than our current property tax that is assessed by the state of California?
So to answer that question, that was a question?
That's my
Okay,
question.
so the question is, okay, so the question was, everybody didn't hear that, was how can the tax be higher than how can the proposed tax be higher than what's already assessed by the state of California? The answer to that is you're voting to self-impose a tax for fire protection. It's a special assessment tax, which is what you're paying for. Coincidentally, on this particular tax, if it's your property tax, there's a rule called teeter, if you guys haven't ever heard of that. And what teeter does on your property taxes, it allows me to budget properly, and at the end of the year, anything that isn't paid by the citizen that owns the property basically allows me to be made whole by other funding. Special taxes such as this are not. It's 100% reliant on people's honest attempt to make payment on the tax. So in reality, when I said it was $152,000 that was collected this particular time, that was because people actually stepped up along the way and did it, and that's actually from years past collection as well. It all calculates into the same one. But it is a self-imposed tax in this particular instance. Does that answer that for you? Okay.
Oh, thank you, Naomi. Turn the microphone up. Let me explain. The microphones are for the videotape. They're not for the public address, and I apologize for that. I didn't know that. So, John, if you could just repeat the questions that people ask so they understand what the question is.
Absolutely.
Okay. Naomi, oh wait, sorry. Thank you, Naomi. Ed Valorand.
Hi, Ed.
I wrote my question down because
Oh, sorry.
I have a couple questions. Number one, I've heard about from other firemen that there's a 2-in, 2-out rule. If you have to go into a house, if someone is handicapped and there's a fire and they can't make it out, you have to have 4 firemen present. Is that correct?
That is not correct. So the question revolves around 2-in, 2-out OSHA. It's CFR, I could pull it up if I needed to, if you guys actually want to know what it is. It's a federal OSHA law, basically, that requires 2 firefighters to be exterior on a structure fire if there's 2 firefighters interior on a structure fire. The reason for that is in the event of a structural collapse, something along those lines, they can go in and grab the firefighter that's down, in theory, and drag them back out. The question revolved around, do they have to be in place if there's a handicapped person or something along those lines inside and needs rescuing? The answer to that is no. That 2 people outside does not need to be in place in the event there is an immediate life hazard. So in other words, they're incapacitated, can be seen, they're a known rescue. Hey, I know grandma is in there. We can hear them screaming. Anything along those lines that would give us an indication that there is somebody in there, we are exempt from that law.
Thank you. That's never been brought out before. Thank you for that. Second question, how does the special districts handle, people not paying taxes? I just did the numbers, and approximately 4% of the people didn't pay their property taxes to come up with the numbers. Will you have to add another 4% to be on the safe side to this $311 number?
No. So what I would do is... I'm sorry, I apologize. No, you're fine. Hold on to the mic. I'm mic'd as well. Okay, so the second question was, what do they do for the shortfall if people don't pay their taxes? Are they going to come back on the rest of the residents to make that up? And the answer to that is no. What they do is a county tax assessor would assign a lien or a levy, and the county, to be honest with you, with the amount of money that we're talking about, the county would likely, and I use this term likely, augment that, offset that loss. 4% of that, it's small in the grand scheme.
Okay, and one other question.
Does he?
I didn't talk for the 2. He was responding for a big part of it. A lot of the dilemma that a lot of people have out here is they can't afford it. To a lot of people, ramen noodles is the main course, and $311 equates to 5 meals a day, because it's on sale at Status, 6 for $1. So it winds up saying that is equivalent of 5 meals a day for $311. That's where a lot of the people are coming from. They are squeezed.
I understand.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed. Hana Nyala?
Hi. Do I just stand back here? Or
I'll bring this. Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for the information. I find myself intensely curious about the budget details.
Okay.
Because as I understood it, you said that we have had one LT firefighter here, and they make $12 an hour, and that turns out to be $400,000 a year, but this year you think you're going to have to spend up to $700,000.
No, okay. All right. So the question was, one LT firefighter at $12 an hour, how does that amass to $400,000 a year? You're budgeted 2 positions per day, 2 limited term firefighters per day, plus operational costs along the way. Okay? So it's basically you're looking at 48 hours per day of personnel at $12 an hour, plus operational expenses to keep the lights on, the fuel, the maintenance on the apparatus, the supplies for when they actually go out on the incident. That's how you end up at the $400,000. To answer your question about the $700,000, okay, and the second part of your question revolved around how do we get to the $700,000 mark? The answer to that is I'm running professional people now that are making upwards of $30 an hour on overtime per day.
Or 90 or 65 or whatever.
Well, the other day, to give you an example, and I hate to say it this way, I had, because of the personnel shift that we had on, I had to run 2 professional captains out here. That's the highest paid position on the fire engine to maintain service levels for the community that we've agreed to provide. So where that money's coming from right now, that extra $300 or $300,000 right now is coming out of the service zone, the South Desert Service Zone, not out of FB4. We're going to have exhausted the revenue that we've allocated for you, and then we're going to reach into our pockets and come back from the service zone.
Okay, then I have a follow-on question, and maybe it would just be better for me to ask for. Do you have detailed budgets available for people to see?
Those are available on the county's website. I don't think they're on sbcfire.org, would be the county fire department website, but if you go to the San Bernardino County website, you can download our actual, we're an actual tab with probably 250 pages of information directly from the budget book. So yes,
Okay.
detailed data is in there.
Because the cost
A little slower, sir,
Yes, ma'am.
because I'm having trouble understanding. You're going so fast.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get through everybody's questions. I apologize. Did you need me to repeat anything about that question?
No, I give up on that one.
Okay. Her question on that particular one was, is the detailed budget information available anywhere? And the answer to that is yes. I don't have printed copies of it. It's online at the county's website.
What is that?
Mark, do you know what the county's website is offhand?
Not for the budget, no.
I think it's just SB, like Sam Boy County.
Just look up San Bernardino County and it'll come.
.gov, and it will take you to it, and go to finance.
Oh, you're talking about the general,
The general county's website.
if that's correct.
I haven't seen the budget there. But then you said that the cost of maintaining this station was $1.46 million a year?
That's what it will be, yes, ma'am.
What is it now then, if that's what it will be?
Okay, you got to remove the limited term firefighter out of the equation and install the career personnel, and that's going to make up the lion's share of that cost. So,
Okay, so
Okay,
we're removing the one LTE at $12 an hour for a career person,
correct.
and that's going to take it to $1.46 million a year
Oh.
with no changes in the infrastructure, et cetera?
Wow, I see.
Okay.
Yes, to answer your question. Because we have to pay those people, as we talked about, in the position. So the question was, how's it going to go from $400,000 with limited term firefighters to $1.46 million? Keep in mind, there's operational costs that are in there as well. But the salaries and benefits, retirement, et cetera, of a professional labor force is much higher than the limited term firefighter position.
And the county has no plans whatsoever to look at a pre-professional labor force where they actually treat people right and they pay affordable health care, et cetera, and pay them more than $12 an hour and get them in at the lower grade and put them in these
Our
positions?
career-
Because a lot of people apparently need these positions,
Okay.
not just us.
So I will tell you, so the question was, do we have any type of plan as a county to put any type of pre-service position in where they're lesser paid and do whatever? I would tell you that a career firefighter paramedic starts off at a whopping $3 an hour more than these gentlemen do. They're at $15 an hour.
That's my question.
And they do. And that's what the cadets, the 20 cadets
Yeah.
in Needles, and the 30 people or 26 that are going to graduate from probation, that's what they're making, is 15-something an hour to run in a burning building. So they're making $3 an hour more, but their salaries and benefits are guaranteed on the back end. So we are not going to get back into the business, because we cannot recruit these people of just paying them whatever minimum wage is going to be at to risk their lives and not guarantee them something on the back end. And I don't really, I'll be honest with you, I don't think that's in anybody's best interest.
Hannah?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Hannah. Ron Murphy? Oh, okay, I'll put you back at the end. Christine Carraher.
You use that one? Okay.
Yeah, simple question. I'm just trying to understand the parameters. Is it legally required that we have any kind of coverage, either for medical emergency or fire? Is that an actual legal requirement at all, or are we,
No.
Okay.
So the question was, are you legally required to have a fire department or medical services? And the answer on both of those is no. You are not legally required.
Jerry Thompson? Jerry?
I'll speak from back here.
Oh, here.
Okay. Oh, we need you to use the mic.
Sorry, sir. There you go.
We all understand that the purpose of a bureaucracy is to grow. And this bureaucracy has grown. One thing that would make everybody feel a little bit better, if the county could show us where our services have improved. How many more houses have been saved? Because I don't see it. We're spending more money every year, and we're getting nothing in return.
Is that your question?
That's my question.
Okay.
Where are the statistics?
Okay. So his question is, statistically, the feeling is that there's not been any enhanced service delivery provided for, is that for the $33 that you're already paying?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, I would say that you have a guaranteed 2-person unit per day with paramedics. And statistically, I don't know where we're at with the life-saving measures. I could pull the statistics and I can get back to you on that.
love to see it.
Okay. As far as firefighting, what's that? I'm sorry?
They're not professional paramedics.
No, you're currently running with a paramedic per day right now, if you didn't know that. Yes?
Professional paramedic?
Right now, no, hold on. We have limited term firefighters that are paramedics.
What's the definition of paramedic?
It's an advanced,
EMT?
it's an advanced level above EMT. It's a paramedic. They start IVs, they intubate you, they shock you, they give you, yes. Correct. And you have, and right now, that's one of the reasons that I am running professional people out here in those positions.
Okay, this is an occasional thing, though. I'm sorry to interrupt, but in the county budget
Can you give her a mic then?
Yeah.
2013-14, the only paramedics listed were in the Lake Havasu area and in Yucca Valley, and that was both because they paid extra to have a paramedic ambulance.
Okay.
The only thing I can find out here with your limited people, if we have 2 limited people here, limited time, one of them is not a fully trained professional paramedic.
One of them every single day is a fully qualified, licensed state of California paramedic, also through ISMA. If you would like for me to bring them in right now and bring you the gear so you can see it, I will show them to you.
I just find this amazing, that's all.
Ma'am, you've
And
had-
for $12 an hour for what you're paying these limited term people. And one of them is a
And now
paramedic.
you understand why they're leaving.
I'm just going to shut my mouth now because that is just too hard to believe.
Okay, let me,
Jill had the next question, but I want to go back to Jerry's question.
Well, that was the question. I would like to see statistics on the firefighting end of it, because I do not believe that the
Can you give him the mic?
yes.
I don't see where houses, buildings have been saved any more now than back 30 years ago under the volunteer system. The response time out here is impossibly slow no matter what. They have no water to work with. They don't save anything. And you want us to make that system bigger.
Okay. I don't have a response for it because I cannot generate the statistics currently. I can research it and I can try and get back to you on, and basically it'll be in dollars lost. It'll be dollar loss is basically what it would be attributable to. But ma'am, to answer your question, I can assure you that we've had paramedics here for many years. Every single day.
Okay, Jim Copeland. So did I get that right, Jim Copeland?
Yes.
Oh, we can bring the mic to you.
Can you give me just 1 second? Here, let me just make a phone call real quick so I can get you, show you exactly what you're getting.
Okay, while he's saying that, I have 5 questions in line. So if you have another question, please bring a sheet up to me and I'll fold you in, even if you've already asked a question.
Hey, Lynette, it's John Chamberlin, Division 108. How are you? Good. Hey, can you tell me what the status is in Medic Patrol 45? Can you have them report back to the community center ASAP and have them bring their paramedic gear into the community center, please? Thank you. All right, bye. Okay, I apologize, sir. Go ahead.
I've been involved with the community for, I hate to say it, 40 years. As a matter of fact, that's me up there in the middle in that red engine. The one thing I've noticed change over the years here, I'd highlight at the top of my list, is communications has completely fallen apart at the seams. Teresa, if you might pass it on to the supervisor, star, chief, the rest of you, there needs to be an ongoing dialogue. There has not been. This should have not cropped up out of the blue as it has. It really should have been an ongoing, every year, it would seem to me that there should be a budget presentation to answer that gentleman's question or somebody's question, that lady who left. Where does the money come from? Where does it go? How is it apportioned out? And then get into some of the bigger discussions. We're just talking about CSA 70 in Wonder Valley. But we also should be talking about the fact the county has a responsibility, and this station has covered historically out to 177 to meet with Tamarisk Lake, up to the Granites to meet with Baker, and then out to Ludlow, and all of that area is part of what these paramedics are covering. To assume that people here are going to pay for all that gets a little shaky. The one thing I disagree with you on is the 4,600 parcels. If you have an unimproved parcel, it's worth what? Now that's the reason you have benefit assessments. That's worth $500, $1,000. You're not going to assess it $400. You're going to have a default rate that's much higher than any 2%. You could easily wind up with a 20% default rate. Then I doubt that the county would backfill that because it would be general fund revenues coming in. And I think that needs to be looked at. You know, some of us do have homes here, and even at that, if I look at a $400 increase, and I'm pre-Prop 13, that's hard to believe, my taxes will be in excess of $1,000 a year, in addition to the fact that the insurance runs $1,000 a year. So I would hope, and I'm supposed to be quiet now, but we need to have ongoing meetings and dialogue. Teresa, I hold you to that, Star and Chief. This should not happen again.
Maybe I can answer that.
We've been having ongoing meetings every month here since I think, since May or April or May. Every month, and they've been noticed everywhere. I have a paper that I print every week that's available. There's a website. Anyway, grab this. Pardon me?
Okay.
Grab this. It has all of the things that are available. We also have the Nextdoor network. It's a social network similar to Facebook, but it's closed. So it's only Wonder Valley. 60 people have signed on, and we do discuss these issues there. You are all welcome to join. So this is something that we have been working on.
What's the name of that again?
Nextdoor, Wonder Valley. Izzy will give you a sheet. But I've tried to make as many ways possible for us to communicate as I possibly can. And if you can think of more, please let me know. You had a question?
Well, we just found out about this today.
Right, but I have been having public meetings here for several months.
Yes, at the Palms. I was stabbed and almost died there. I'm not going to that bar.
No, the public meetings have been here. They've been here, and I think we've had...
The second Monday of the month.
Yes.
Every month except January and February.
Yeah. I'm sorry?
Some of us work.
I understand, and we're going to schedule a Saturday meeting soon, but I always put the notes online, so the notes of the meeting are available to you. Emma Hughes? Emma, do you want to take, we'll take this mic to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Mine isn't so much a question as a comment. When we had a volunteer fire department, when we took a mortgage out on our house, we were turned down because it had to be a 24-hour fire station. What I'm wondering is if we go back to volunteer, if we will have the possibility of losing our house because we will not be able to get fire protection for the mortgage for the house. And I know that concerns some other people too. Any? Okay, Star?
Are you going to answer it, Scott? Yeah. Okay, so he'll give you the mic.
In response to that, through your ISO, which is your insurance services, if you do not have fire protection out here, they'll just raise your insurance rates. And I mean, it could go up 1,000%. If you don't have a mortgage, you don't have to have fire insurance or loss protection. You don't have to have anything. That's totally up to you. But if you have a mortgage, like a lot of us do, We have to have some type of fire protection, and we pay for what we get. Simple as that.
Did that answer it for you?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Emma. Mike Shaw, in the back.
Oh. There you go, sir.
Thanks.
No problem.
All right.
I'll go right over here.
I'm not new to the valley. I've been around here since the 70s and helping my father retire out here. I'm going to have a statement and then I'm going to ask a question.
Okay.
A lot of people out here are missing something that became very obvious a long time ago. The largest single property owner in Wonder Valley is the federal government, and they pay no taxes. This community has always been supported by the few, and when I got notice about this meeting, I decided that maybe I should come out from under the rock that I've been hiding under and start doing my thing. The thing about this is, when it comes to insurance, I talked to the insurance commission, I talked to 5 of the major carriers out here. The rating for this fire department, which is a new thing in the last few years, has been hovering between 9 and 10. Now, when you talk to the service commissioner officer and they said, well, they're going to up the property taxes $300 per parcel, and it's going to provide us with more fire department personnel and equipment, they laugh themselves silly because there's absolutely no way that they're going to change that rating, because that rating is based on the equipment that is already here and the fact that there is no water. There's never been a dedicated water supply for this area. There's no fire hydrants for that reason, and it would cost $1 billion to do Wonder Valley. Do you think the federal government's going to toss that money in to help out? I don't think so. That's the first part. Second part is, when it comes to the people who live out here, we had a volunteer fire department. Most people were assessed on that point. There is also no way on this planet that they have any reason to change what's going on out here as far as insurance is concerned, because as per every person I talked to on the phone, including one of them from Allstate who thought it was quite funny, he said, there's no change because there is no change. It's very simple. If it's not fixed, it's not broken, it's going to stay the same, so they're not going to raise the rates and they're not going to lower them. You're going to get the 3% or whatever a year for operational costs as far as insurance is concerned. The bottom line when it comes to that is this: 5% roughly in the whole Wonder Valley area is considered property that is insured. There's a possibility, slim mind you, that 5% more could possibly be insured if they're willing to pay. 90% of the property in Wonder Valley is uninsurable and will never be insured, no matter how much the cost. Why? Because 75% of that is government owned and they're not going to pay their insurance. Come on. Now, when the other few parcels are concerned are not going to get it because they're absolutely inaccessible. They can't get to them. So when you look at a base that we have out here for taxes, we look at a small base. When you sit there and you look at a small base, that means that those people have to put out more money.
Right.
That was the whole reason why the $33 was a cap. Okay? That was also the whole reason why that $33 was actually put on a time limit. Okay? If you read the law, if you read what happens, we are part of a really large problem out here, and the problem is infrastructure. It's just like anything else. What money you're asking for goes into the general fund. Okay? It may be in an envelope that says Wonder Valley Fire Department, but it's still the general fund. Who remembers the gas tax in California when it was implemented in the 50s? It went into the general fund. 95% of all road repairs in California have been repaired by government loans because bureaucrats have a way of taking money out of the general fund and they don't care where it comes from. So you may get 100 or 1.4 million, but when it comes down to it, they may not be there when you want it. And then all of a sudden, we're borrowing Peter to pay Paul. So my question is this, and it's really simple. If this is a ballot, and if there's actually going to be a ballot measure with this, are we going to be given an absolute ironclad choice between different ways of looking at the problem we have to be solved? Because I, for one, think that the volunteer thing and everything worked for great forever. There's no way in the world, honest to God, no disrespect, but the slab savers in this area, they do the best job they can. But in 30 years, I've never seen a building saved, ever. And I've been out here a long time, and I've walked, and I mean, what happens to the building? Well, there's another one. But the point of the matter is, no disrespect, that's the best they can do. And I was wondering if we're going to get an absolute black and white proposal where we can actually, as a group, choose.
So,
took too much time, sorry.
thank you for your candidness. I appreciate it. So, slab savers. I like that term. That's different. Okay, so everybody, I presume everybody heard what he asked. The question ultimately came down to, are you going to be given a black and white option when this is all said and done about how what you're gonna get, what you're gonna vote for, what it's gonna look like? The answer is, it's up to the community to determine what level of service they want and to craft it in such a way that it would say that. It's not up to me. I can make recommendations all day long. I didn't bring up the insurance rate thing, just for clarification. Is it a concern? It would be for me. I don't live here. I am your partner. I want to make sure that you're provided the best opportunity for fire protection and or EMS system delivery. That being said, it's entirely, as a community body, your choice as to what you want. And you're going to have to craft whatever measure or decision, and it could just be you tell me to go fly a kite and say, we're only paying the $33. We're just leaving that in place, and we want to go with a paid call program. And that's okay. If that's what the community decides they want to do, I will work with what you give me on that. I'm not out here insinuating that I'm forcing $1.4 million down your throat. Again, this is an educational process. This is an optional. I'm looking for options. I'm looking for input. I'm looking for ideas on ways you want me to deal with this. With you. Okay? Us, together, trying to figure this out. Okay, so we're all clear. So did that answer your question, sir? Okay.
Hey, Karen Myers, right here. Right here.
Yes, ma'am. Here you go. You got to speak into the mic. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I have three things.
Okay.
First of all is a question. Why is there only one firefighter assigned to Wonder Valley?
There's only one limited term firefighter because that's all that's left after we've been consolidating and putting these people in areas that need to utilize that. You still have 2 firefighters per day.
I know.
Okay, so you have your 2 firefighter positions, but we only have 1 assigned here right now.
Okay. And I think a lot of people don't understand the significance of having a paramedic especially in a small community like this. Having a paramedic is a huge asset. Huge. And everybody in this room is going to be involved in way more medical aids than they are fires.
That's correct.
And let me tell you, when there's a paramedic shows up, it changes everything. So I just want to say that.
So
I don't want to pay for them, but
nobody wants to pay for them. So to answer your question, or to answer to your point, if you'd allow me, the bottom line is that is in fact true. Having a paramedic on the asset is one of the principal guiding factors that the county fire department prides itself on. We have paramedics on every apparatus now that we staff. Brain death, if you go down in a full rest, brain death starts to occur in as little as 6 minutes.
That's right.
Okay? So even if they do save you and it's after 6 minutes, then there's a chance of neurological deficit. Okay? So that being said, I wanted to emphasize that point. Thank you for bringing that up. So, and you do currently have at least 1 paramedic. Some days, because of the staffing model I'm having to do, you're getting 2 paramedics a day because I'm running professional firefighters in here every day. And I'll be honest with you, out of the 450 career firefighters we have, probably close to 350 of them, myself included, are paramedics, to give you an idea. Okay?
Yep.
So, at any rate, 80% of our call volume, just over 80% of our call volume countywide, and we run over 80,000 calls a year as a county fire department, are medical related, to give you some idea.
Yep.
So,
And they are the first on scene.
and you typically, we are the first on
Mountain-based
scene.
ambulance
Correct.
is en route, but
That's
the
correct.
firefighters are the first on scene.
Correct.
Okay, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, this $311 will never be voted in by Wonder Valley residents, unfortunately. It will never be voted in, no matter what's promised, what's said,
Understood.
anything else.
Okay?
So I think we should all be concentrating our efforts and our time and our energy on the alternatives,
Okay.
not the $311. I won't say what I want, but I mean, I'm just saying, it's never
want
gonna
paramedics and you don't want to pay for them. You said that.
It will never happen. That's all I can say.
Okay.
That's it.
And I understand that, and let me assure you, again, that's a factor out for what you currently have in a professional delivery model, ridding of the limited term firefighters. That's what that cost breakdown works out to, okay? I'm not proposing you come out here again and shake you down.
Okay, and Laura Seidel down this aisle at the end.
Mike Shaw pretty much covered what I was going to say.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Laura.
It was mostly about the general fund and how the politicians get their answers.
Christine Caraher.
Yeah, mine was answered. I had a question about insurance.
Okay, Deanne Albers.
Can you come up there? Okay. I feel like Vanna today.
Granted, I've only lived here 8 years. I don't know the past. But to me, firefighters are extremely important, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank the captain and all of the firefighters in not only our area, but the entire state of California and everywhere.
Thank you.
You guys just do a tremendous job.
Thank you, ma'am.
And, you know, I just got my notice in the mail from the county saying that my house has gone up in value, but that's costing me $50 more a month in taxes for that. I think it's very important to have professional firefighters. It just seems like it's just so expensive.
I understand.
And I understand why, and I'm not arguing with that, but it is just really expensive. But I appreciate it, and hopefully we can get something worked out.
I appreciate that. Thank you for your comments.
Sure.
I would be remiss if I didn't say that I needed to educate everybody in why we're in the position we're in. Okay, I mean, everybody I think gets that now. I don't, it's not by choice. I'm not coming out here trying to say whatever. I will tell you that your personnel, who just arrived right now. Hi guys. Come on, there's not a medical aid. I just need to showcase your stuff. Firefighter Tom, you're a paramedic, are you not?
I am.
And where are you assigned, typically?
I'm assigned at Station 41, which is in Yucca Valley.
Okay.
And here in the South Desert, a lot of us rotate through. Station 45 here in Wonder Valley. Yeah. So today I'm on an overtime shift over here at in Wonder Valley. But generally, in Wonder Valley, generally Yucca Valley is where I'm at.
Who's your partner today?
My partner today, right behind you, is LTEMT K Takamoto.
So this is your assigned limited term firefighter. Mr. Takamoto, you are an EMT, are you not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have an EMT that's a limited term, and today you're running a full-time firefighter paramedic. Okay, what's your hourly rate, Tom?
$17.80.
Okay, so and your bottom?
I am.
So there, I'm sorry, is that the new contract rate?
It hasn't jumped yet. It's going to jump up about $2.50.
So what they're doing is they're taking a paramedic bonus and they're rolling that paramedic bonus in there. So this gentleman is rolling as a paramedic for you for $17 an hour. Takamoto, what do you make?
$10.13.
Oh.
There you go. So I wanted to give you guys an idea of $10.13 an hour. Okay, and it's not to embarrass the young man because I'm sure he is one of our shining stars and is going to do well here in another department here very soon, if not with our own. You did test with us, did you not?
I have an interview in 2 weeks.
There you go. Good luck. I hope I sit on your panel. So that being said, so this gear, this is your cardiac monitor with defibrillator. This is your drug box. This is your airway. You have at least one paramedic on duty per day, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. Okay, so we're all clear. Okay, much more gear that goes with this, but this is their ALS function. This is what they're going to walk into your house with. And if you're suffering from an MI, so a cardiac event that's occurring right now, they can control the medications or give you medications to control your heartbeats. They can take control of your heart through electricity. They can intubate you and breathe for you, even though it's uncomfortable, I'm sure. Hopefully you're not around or alive, or not alive. Hopefully you're not alert. Thank you. Whoever said that. Man, get me all flustered. It's been a while since I've been a medic. So at any rate.
Yeah, I can talk about it for...
If you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want 1 minute? You want to talk to Firefighter Tom? You want to demo any of the gear? Or are you good? We good?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait, do you administer medication too? I know that's a difference between EMTs.
Yes, ma'am, we do. So there's a pretty significant difference between an EMT, which provides basic life support, and a paramedic, which provides advanced life support. And you're talking about probably an additional 2.5 to 3 years.
I don't want to put you on the spot. It's not amped.
No
there you go.
Yeah. About 2.5 to 3 years extra of medical training. So yes, ma'am, to answer your question, there's a lot of different functions that we can do. Our scope of practice is much bigger, and one of the things that we can do is administer medications. Exactly right. So like Chief was talking about, if we run on cardiac arrest patients, respiratory arrest patients, stroke patients,
I just don't have
and a long list of others, there's a lot more advanced practice that we can actually do. This first bag right here is our blue bag. It's called our airway bag. Aside from basic oxygen, we have tubes that we can put in people's tracheas if they're not breathing or if they're having a very, very difficult time breathing. That's an advanced skill. That's something that we can completely protect their airway from that an EMT or a basic life support can't do. And that's extremely important because when someone's unconscious, someone's not breathing, one of the most challenging things doctors have to deal with is what's called aspiration pneumonia, which means if someone vomits and it goes down their windpipe, very, very unlikely of a full recovery. So by putting a tube down that trachea, we can protect any type of throw up or any type of dirty things that can go down in that airway. So that's one of the skills that we do. We also have different types of tubes, not necessarily ones that go down your throat, but ones that go into your stomach that help protect things from coming back from your stomach and into your lungs. Aside from that, the airway bag is pretty basic, and you'll generally see EMTs and paramedics carry this bag. This orange box is our drug box.
You can open it up, it's fine. All right. I'm not going to be able to see it. It's. Oh, sorry. It's okay.
In our drug box, this is essentially going to be a paramedic type of drug box. We have in excess of probably 22 to 24 drugs that we carry, and we basically administer them based on the signs, symptoms, and presentations that the paramedics are seeing. So a lot of chest pain calls, a lot of difficulty breathing calls, stroke calls, sugar calls is something that we can fix on the field. The thing about a paramedic is that we are an extension of the medical director. And for the most part, the first 10-15 minutes of what a paramedic does on scene is exactly what a doctor will do when you get to the hospital. So by calling 911, getting us there, is basically like having a doctor for the first 10-15 minutes immediately while we're transporting to the hospital. So we're saving a lot of time. So that's something that's really important and special about paramedicine. You're basically bringing a doctor for the first 10-15 minutes, and we're going to be doing essentially the exact same treatment for a lot of the medical and traumatic problems that we run on. So just in here, we can give you IVs, we can give you a bunch of different medications, again, basically for whatever problems that we happen to see. This right here is our cardiac monitor. We just got new ones throughout the entire county. This is pretty much state of the art. And what these basically do is They monitor the electrical conductivity of your heart. So as a paramedic, we're trained to interpret and diagnose different rhythms that we're seeing on the monitor. So whether you're having chest pains or whether you're in cardiac arrest, we can look at the monitor, see what your heart is doing, and we can actually go down different treatment plans based on what your heart's doing. That's very different than what an EMT can do. An EMT brings in a similar type monitor, but the monitor interprets it itself, and there's only two things that it can do. It can either shock you or it doesn't shock you. A paramedic has the option to identify a rhythm, shock.
It does.
Yeah.
It says do not shock.
Yeah, exactly.
No shock advised.
So yeah, a paramedic can look at the rhythm, we can give specific medications, we can defibrillate you, and then we can also use two different other types of electrical therapy, whether it's to give you small bursts of electricity to keep your heart up, or to what's called synchronized cardiovertue, which is to give you another limited shock to get your heart back into a good rhythm, if it's in a medium rhythm. And then the final thing I just want to go over is another advanced life support bag. This is called a CPAP device. So there's a lot of patients that have congestive heart failure, asthma, that are having a very difficult time breathing. And up until probably 5 years ago, we really didn't have a great treatment protocol for these congestive heart failure patients and these asthmatics or people that are having a very difficult time breathing. We basically would do limited medical therapies, limited medicines, and then they'd either get better or they would go funnel down very, very quickly, and we'd end up having to put a tube down their throat. The CPAP device is actually a mask that goes over your face, and it continuously puts pressured air into your lungs, and it opens up your lungs. Since we've had this, it's been a marked change in respiratory distress patients. We've very, very scarcely had to use intubation devices for these patients. So it's a great tool, and we use it all the time. So that's just a quick little overview of what we have here. We have a bunch more stuff, but I couldn't bring everything in. But if you guys have any questions for me real briefly, I'd be more than happy to answer. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
State your name. Oh, my name is Olivia Rossi. And my question is, are we able to access you exclusively through 911?
When you call 911, it's going to go to a specific dispatch system, and they are going to actually what's called prioritize your call. So if they identify that it's a medical aid, they'll probably ask you or your family members some questions, and that will throw it down as a specific priority. But yes, every medical aid we are going to go on. So if you call 911 and you're in our response area, we're going to respond.
So then your response time would be about equivalent to a response for a fire in this area?
Yes, ma'am. So we will respond to fires, traffic accidents, and medical problems. Oh, no problem.
That's very bad news for us. But, this brings up a really good question. The captain has said that he's had to bring in people from outside the area in order to staff Wonder Valley. How familiar are you with Wonder Valley?
Wonder Valley, we're pretty familiar. We're not experts in it, but we have a lot of great devices, mapping in our phone and our maps. But like I mentioned, I personally am not from this area.
Right.
I know that a lot of the firefighters that do work here are much more familiar with it. But just, yeah, Chief.
Let me just add on to that too. So with that, we actually have hard copied map books with, I heard you say it right there. Some of the roads aren't marked, whatever. It's Jim's Road or Bob's Road or whatever. We get that. So actually many of the mapping components have actually been in our hard binder maps that are provided on each apparatus for the area. It's actually in there. And it's actually in there in the GIS file. So when it's printed, it goes to hard code. So they know exactly where it's at. In addition to that, it gives it, if you're calling from a cell phone, it gives us a lat long on every single call. So we can actually plug that into the GPS and know specifically within 30 meters of where you're at. So that gives you some idea. So if that helps you. Does that answer the question a little bit better? Sorry. Understood. Yeah. So.
Can you get the mic?
Yeah, let me get to the mic back, sorry.
I know, but we need the mic so that we can record.
My mic.
Mike likes you.
Hi, Mike. It's been several years since I needed paramedics, thank the Lord. But every time they've come out, they've asked what my insurance was. Do you charge my insurance company when you come out on a paramedic call?
That's going to just depend specifically on exactly where you live and the type of insurance you have. That's actually something that's generally above our
That's my level.
priorities.
And I can answer your question for you. So right now, the fire department aspect of it, we currently do not. We are going to start reaching out to the insurance companies through a billing process, but you as the consumer will never see that bill.
Well,
it basically will be if your insurance company, and it'll be a first arrival stabilization fee in the event that, we're out there and we treat you, the bill would be submitted to your insurance company. If they don't pay it, you as a consumer will not be billed for the remainder.
Well, I was just curious about the extra money that you're getting. You're getting that from the insurance company.
Not currently, but we're going to be working on that direction. Okay. That's correct. So, and I should point out, I ran the call statistics for fiscal year 14-15 because that's the numbers we were talking about.
Right.
The station ran a total of 309 calls last year.
Right. And thank the Lord I wasn't one of them.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Firefighter Tom? Firefighter Paramedic Tom, I'm sorry. We good? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Wait, I have the list.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. You're good.
Here.
I'm right here, Matt.
Okay, over here.
Does it matter?
Whichever way you want to go.
Okay. Yeah, I was trained in the CERT program.
Okay.
My wife and I were trained as CERT volunteers over at Copper Mountain Mesa. So we're qualified to do some of these things. My question is, why don't they have a CERT program here in Wonder Valley? It's not hard to get it started, and it would be an asset to this community if more people would know a few things that these firefighters know. Okay? That way we'd be able to help ourselves a lot more. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Almond Fleck?
Got that one. Okay.
Chief, I don't mean this in any
No, ma'am. Go ahead.
derogatory way.
Lay it on me.
But you made a call to the fire department to get the paramedics over here.
Uh-huh.
Did you notice how long it took? It was...
Yes, I did.
It wasn't an emergency. It wasn't.
So when they are here and nobody needs their services, which are life-saving, and we so appreciate that.
So, can I answer that question for you?
Yes.
Okay, so right around this time every day, our personnel are instructed to work out, perform physical fitness so they can come in and provide the services at least 60 to 90 minutes a day, and they're not going to show up in their bunker pants for a physical presentation without being in uniform. So that's the answer to your question as to why the delay.
Okay.
So if they were sleeping, it'd take that long too.
No, ma'am.
Sorry.
No. But when it is delayed by over 15 minutes, we just heard some statistics. It doesn't take long to stop breathing.
No.
So it concerns me how fast they can do that. And if they're in gym outfit, so what?
Well, they're not going to come to a public presentation in a gym outfit, ma'am. That's not the intention.
Are they going to come to our house?
They would come, if they were in gym workout gear, they'd throw their bunker pants on and they would be out the door in less than a minute.
Thank you. Thank you, Almond. Jerry Thompson? Jerry Thompson had another question? Okay. Dominic Bruxer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I want you to know I do appreciate the job that you do, and I understand that a lot of you are underpaid. However, my question relates to what the lady was asking a minute ago.
In 2009, November 1st, 2009, I was stabbed and almost died at the Palms Bar, which is approximately about 3 miles away from the fire
I know where it's
station.
at. Right.
It took them 45 minutes to get there, and the Marine base paramedics got there first. Why?
Okay. I don't know the specifics on your call. So the question was...
I almost bled to death.
Okay, so let me answer that. That's a two-part question. Okay, so the question was, Dominic was apparently involved in an altercation in 2009?
Yes.
In 2009, there was a long delay before he was rendered care. And the question was, why was that? Well, that's not as simple as just saying, where were you guys? Because the first thing is, you said you were stabbed.
Yes.
Okay, so do firefighters carry guns? So are firefighters able to defend themselves? So are we going to walk into a situation where you just got stabbed? No, we're not. So that answers the question on your long delay. As far as why the Marine Corps base was there before our guys, I have no idea. I'd actually have to look up the call. If you can give me the specific date, I can get back to you with the specifics on it. Okay, but to answer your question, that would be the delay. We're, in that particular instance, we're subservient to law enforcement walking into a crime scene, and I insist, and I will not bend on this rule, that my personnel are safe. There is not a question in my mind they will be taken care of. So much so, the county fire department is outfitting all of our personnel currently, or through grant funding, again, that's a benefit to being big like this, with ballistic protection. It's a sad time when firefighters have to put on bulletproof vests, but that's where we're going. Every one of our personnel will be wearing within the year, okay, to give you some idea. So, at any rate, if that answers your question, I hope it did. I will get back to you with more specifics. If you can meet with me afterwards and give me the specific date, I'll look it up. Okay? No problem.
Okay, Emma. Emma again.
Emma again.
Yep. Emma again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to make a comment that wasn't on there. I understand why it took them so long to get here. It was not an emergency.
Correct.
So they didn't have to jump and get right here. They could do whatever. Okay, now to my comment. Right now it's $33, if I remember correctly.
Yes, ma'am.
You would like to increase it to $311. If we don't go for that, and it goes in for $150 to $200, would that be workable? Would the county, would the state pick up the difference? Or does it have to be that much?
311. Good. Look at that smile.
Okay, so the question was, are we open to some potential negotiation on a lesser amount?
Right.
And that is a great question. And to be honest with you, I will take that back, because to be quite honest with you, what is that going to require? If you're not paying for the freight, somebody's got to pay for it, right? So the question is, what do we look at? Is it a 50-50 cost share with the county? I don't know. So as your advocate, and I'm sure Mark will be the same way, we will bring that question up and say, what is enough? What can we do for this community to continue to provide that service, and work through that accordingly? So excellent point, and I appreciate you bringing that up, because that opens a door for me. So thank you.
You had a question other than the one you asked? Do you still have a question?
Well, my question, I think
Can you
that,
get that one?
Yep.
the question I wrote down is redundant. I think Emma asked that question already. I was just going to make a comment on, if it's okay, based on what Larry said. I see in the paper advertised on a regular basis classes available for first aid, and every single one of us can take it and be prepared
Absolutely.
to render aid in an emergency to anybody.
Thank you.
Ron? Okay, you want me just to file your card? Okay, thank you.
Here you go.
Jim?
I think you're the last
Yeah.
written one. How's that?
Any more questions after this?
In line with this lady's comment, out of those 307 or 8 calls, how many of them were out of district? Do you know offhand?
I don't know offhand. I'll have
Well,
to
and
pull it
to
up.
follow up on that, some of those calls are time consumptive. They're, again, if it goes up to the Granites, it's a long, long haul. I would hope that then you could, as you asked that question that she posed, we could consider, and this is a 30-year-old question.
Sure.
We cannot bear the freight for all those things. I think that should be the county's responsibility, you know, just as BLM has a hole-in-the-wall operation, stuff like
Absolutely.
that. But can we look at that?
Absolutely, no, and I do, more than you know,
you please
appreciate
look at it?
Yeah, I appreciate her opening that door for me, so that I can have that dialogue and say, there might be an opportunity there for a partnership, less than the full freight. What is our options? What is a county? Now again, I caution everyone with that, and I use this term very loosely. As people are elected in and out of office, those promises were made by this person, and maybe this person doesn't want to honor it. Therein lies your potential problem with that. That being said, coming up next year, so
Too bad it's not closer.
I'm not going to get into the politics. I'm going to defer on that one. So, is there anything else that I can answer for anybody?
No, I don't want to answer. I don't want you to answer something. I just want to make a comment when you were talking about, oh, I've got a loud voice. Everybody knows it.
Okay.
Hi, folks.
He's trying to do it for his video. Thank you.
Again with the videos. All right. A couple years ago, we had this book program, and one of our clients or residents here passed out on the floor, had a seizure attack, and like an idiot, I dialed the 367 number to the fire department, which Star corrected me, hit 911. Believe it or not, even though they answered, they told me the exact same thing. 911. So all of you, don't call the fire department. They're not going to respond. You got to do 911. You'll get directed, and they got here before. 911 got here before their fire department phone number.
Okay.
So please, hit 911. You're not going to get no response from the other one unless you're leaving a message for one of the firefighters.
Thank you for the example of the great customer service. So, yes, ma'am.
I have a question. You say it's going to be on YouTube. Is there will I be under San Bernardino meeting showing up on YouTube to be able to see it?
I'm going to get you that one. Uh-oh, there's another question.
Hi, can I have your name too?
My name is Marlene.
Marlene, okay. Yeah, we're going to put this on YouTube, and we'll also have DVDs here, so if you don't have internet access, you can come here and pick up a DVD and take it home to watch it. And if, you know, grab this little flyer. It tells you how to get a hold of me. We have a website. We'll put that information on the website as well. So we're trying to do as many ways as we can to get information out to everybody.
Will that be YouTube then?
Yeah, and we'll give you the URL on our website and all the other ways that we have to get in touch with you. Darlene, it's so nice to see you back on your feet. Can you take this over to
Yes, ma'am. There you go. Thank you.
If I may sit.
That's okay.
Thank you. I still don't understand why we have a sudden jump so severe. I believe it's possible to make increments, you know, payments, possibly.
Okay, so you're proposing maybe an escalating phase-in, is what you're telling me.
Something like that, right.
Okay. So maybe we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I like your solution as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else? Is that it?
I'm not sure. Are there any more pressing questions? Because we probably should wrap this up. Sure. Can you make sure he gets that? And please state your name.
My name is Juan. You mentioned earlier about notifications to all of us. I can tell you that the three of us, the four of us that were here, were on the other side. The only reason we're here is because it was on the paper. We were never notified of these meetings or the other meetings that you had before.
Okay. I don't know all of you, so I don't have contact information for everyone. And that's why we have the sign-up sheets. So it's really important to sign up when you come into the meeting, because then I put you on my list and I do what I can to get the information to you. And one of the ways that I got information to you is talking to the Desert Trail and making sure that they put the information in the paper. So I do the best I can, and I've got, I don't know, 5 or 6 different ways to reach out, but it's really important for you to give me feedback back. So I'm sorry if we missed you, but I'm glad you made it. And thanks for coming. Is there anybody else who needs to ask a question? Charlotte?
Not a question, but I'd like to make a comment.
Charlotte, can you wait until we get you a mic?
You want me to break the camera?
I like this crowd.
Welcome to Disneyland.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you. In April, I took a fall, shattered my elbow. I punched my life alert system, and they had the fire department and the medics there within 15 minutes. So I don't know where they came from. They might have been parked down the street, but they were there.
Okay, anybody else? Or are we ready to start wrapping it up?
Can I just make a quick comment?
Sure. He's going to make a comment, and then I'll end the meeting.
Okay, so just real quick, I just wanted to tell everybody thank you again for the opportunity to come out and present to you. I hope this was educational in the aspect of the problems that I'm facing as your liaison, obviously, with the county. I want to make a partnership with this and actually come up with a viable solution that everybody is comfortable with. Okay? I'm not here to ram it down your throat or tell you this is the way it's going to be. That's not it at all. Okay, so as you come up with additional options or solutions, I heard the ones I'm walking away from are, is there a possibility for a split freight? Okay, maybe we do that. Or a phase-in over time with escalating things. And I'm going to come back with statistics for the call volume outside of the area. And I'm also going to come back with a property loss statement as far as the slab savers, as we were so eloquently called. So, was there anything else that I'm missing? Does that sound about right? Everybody agree on that? Okay, and that's it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, I just want to let you know that in November for Veterans Day, we're going to have Stuart West from the base come talk about Veterans Affairs, and he can meet with people individually to help them with their benefits. So there's a little flyer up there, but we'll get the information out to you. Thanks for coming. And there's more copies up here if you missed out on the information. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.